average packages have done very well. The minimum that we accept as far as the CAT percentile is concerned is 93 percentile. These are largely orientated around the common aptitude test. Because we are rather focused on the learner, we had to be able to do a lot of changes, a lot of training had to be done. We have a very great set of faculty. The executive PGDM program, or the PGDM for executive professionals, that's around 19 lakhs.
So today we are in IMT Ghaziabad and we are sitting with the director of IMT Ghaziabad, Mr. Vishal Talwar. Vishalji, welcome to shiksha.com.
Thank you very much.
Vishalji, first and foremost, I wanted to know how difficult or easy is it to manage an institution of the caliber of IMT Ghaziabad?
What we have to look at is the fact that there is a lot that we can build on. So IMT Ghaziabad is based, like I said, the alumni, the great faculty, the research orientation, the whole focus on learning experience. That itself gives us a great platform to be able to build further. What you also have to remember is that with the changes in education, with the changes in what's happening, COVID times, even otherwise, there's a lot of varied pressures on higher education institutions, standalone management institutions, to be able to chalk out what is next. Because we obviously know that yes, you have a legacy, but at the same time, looking into the future, how management education looks like, will require all of us to work really hard, do a lot of heavy lifting, create a lot of strategic planning. And of course, I believe IMT Ghaziabad is well perched to be able to take advantage of a lot that higher education will offer in the longer term. So in a sense, we are ready for the challenge. And in a sense, to come back to your question again, it's easy and of course it's difficult also.
How has IMT evolved? How has IMT changed? What is the one basic difference, if I ask you, between the IMT of the pre-pandemic era and the post-pandemic era? What has been that one major difference?
These last 2 years has been able to create a certain kind of mindset in us, has been able to make us further understand that transformation is not just about what happens in the classroom, transformation is about what happens outside the classroom. How do I ensure that I'm providing physical capability, physical presence in the classroom, the touch and feel of management education, of creating leaders, along with the ability that technology is able to provide us. So whether that be consistent engagement, whether that be a lot of self-reflected learning that has been able to happen in the last 2.5 years, all that together does make IMT Ghaziabad much stronger.
If I ask you about the faculty here in IMT Ghaziabad, how would you define it?
Well, we have a very great set of faculty who we are very selective about in terms of selection, in terms of profile, in terms of what they've achieved, in terms of their ability to create the wow moments in the classroom, inspiring moments in the classroom, but also fundamentally strong as far as research is concerned. Because at the end of the day, IMT Ghaziabad is not necessarily competing at the national level. IMT Ghaziabad is competing and aspiring to compete at the international level. And if that is the case, we have to be able to focus not only on knowledge dissemination, but also knowledge creation. And if that is the case, our focus on the right kind of faculty coming into the classroom becomes very important. Creating leaders requires a lot of building up from ground up, but also building up from what's happening outside, bringing into the classroom. So our mix of faculty is focused on that. So the full-time faculty that we have, the adjunct faculty that we have, the industry-oriented faculty that we have, all of them are essentially combining together to provide that level of experience.
So one of the most prominent courses here is PGDM. Apart from these, what are the courses which IMT offers?
Well, we are a higher education management institution, a business school. We largely in the postgraduate domain. So we have obviously the postgrad diploma in management. Within the postgrad diploma in management, we have the postgrad diploma in management. We also have a postgrad diploma in marketing, in financial management. We have a postgrad diploma in banking and financial services, as well as we have a postgrad diploma in management in dual country program. And of course, we have the PGDM, which is around ensuring that students with a certain level of experience, with a minimum of 5 years of experience. So the PGDM program essentially meant for people who are experienced or for at least 5 years. We have that program as well. That's a full-time campus-based program. We also have a PGDM working professionals program, wherein you don't have to leave your jobs to be able to study with us. So these are the varied programs that we actually have across the board.
What will be the fee for all these courses? Just an approximation of PGDM and or PGDM executive, as you told, for working employees, for working professionals. What will be the fees that IMT Ghaziabad charges?
So the PGDM programs, if I call the 2-year regular full-time programs, they're somewhere in the range of 19.5 lakhs. The executive PGDM program, or the PGDM for executive professionals, that's around 19 lakhs. We have the PGDM for working professionals, where you don't have to necessarily leave your job, but you are able to learn with us and do your management studies. That's somewhere in the 7.25, 7.5 zone. Of course, there's a slight variation in PGDM dual country program, wherein you have the advantage of studying in India as well as in Dubai. That also has a certain fees attached to it, which is in both in Indian rupees as well as in AED, as in from a Dubai currency perspective. So these are the varied nature of the programs and the fees attached.
And how to get admission into these programs?
We have a very competitive admissions process. If you look at the PGDM regular full-time programs, these are largely orientated around the Common Aptitude Test. These are also oriented around GMAT and ZAT, right? So these are the three entry points that we have for the PGDM 2-year full-time regular programs. And of course, very competitive in our selection, because we would like to be able to deliver to the best of our abilities and be able to create careers for our students. At the same time, we have the PGDM for the executive students as well. So we have similar requirements over there, where we also look at competitive scores there. With the PGDM for working professionals, yes, we look at CAT, ZAT and GMAT, but we also, for PGDM working professionals, we look at MAT and CMAT as an entry criteria as well. We've also been able to profile our students. Our profiling is based on possibly your work, where you worked, your level of work experience, possibly achievers, whether you've had national awards, international awards, and also the kind of institutions that you may have studied at. So these are also our criteria for selection of our students. Of course, we have the interview process that we do along with our faculty to be able to judge the kind of cohort that we should have in the classroom.
What does IMT offer in terms of infrastructure?
If you look at, we're sitting in the library right now, we have subscription to all the important databases that is possible, all the important books and subscriptions that we believe is required to be able to enable a certain learning and certain evolving over a period. We do that. So our library is one of the best in the country. If you look at our hostel facilities, if you look at a lot of our facilities that are revolving around the campus atmosphere, and because that's essentially a very important second home for a certain period of time, we ensure that we provide the right kind of facilities, the right kind of internet networking. Of course, if you look at what IMT Ghaziabad also does rather well, is the experience that they provide outside the classroom. Of course, the classroom infrastructure is also very evolved and very, very modern. Outside the classroom also, we try and curate the kind of experience the students have, whether that be through the committees or through the clubs. A lot of that is very, very active. Our students are very active. They are able to create a certain experience when they are here with us in those 2 odd years, to be able to offer a certain kind of life in the campus. So from an infrastructure standpoint, classroom, outside classroom infrastructure, the library facilities, the hostel and living facilities, the mess facilities, all these are very evolved. In fact, a lot of our students And in fact, faculty as well talk about the mess and the kind of food that we have. So we're doing very well from that perspective.
Okay. And what about placements? What has been the latest figure in placement?
Average packages have done very well from a historical standpoint. Currently, our average package for the PGDM regular batch stood at 15.28 lakhs. Apart from that, if you look at the top 20%, top 25%, top 30% data, very encouraging, beyond 20 lakhs packages in that particular zone.
How is the hostel infrastructure, if I'd ask you? Please elaborate on that.
The hostel infrastructure has varied seaters, so depending on what your choice is, the attached mess facilities along with it are also very prime, are also very very good. We recently inaugurated a very new hostel which has a very large capacity, and this hostel once again is very contemporary in the infrastructure and its services, in the kind of interiors that it actually offers.
What are the most sought after streams, and what will be the cutoff as per the last entrance exam? At what cutoff admissions have taken place in this course?
We have a lot of applications across the board, so whether that be for the PGDM program, whether that be for the PGDM marketing program, whether that be PGDM financial management. And of course, what we've also noticed in the last few years is a lot of traction for PGDM DCP, which is a dual country program, as well as the PGDM BFS, the Banking and Financial Services program, because if you want, for students who want to go beyond PGDM finance and possibly get into banking and financial services, that becomes a very, very important option. The minimum that we accept as far as the CAT percentile is concerned is 93 percentile for most of our programs. And I think that's something that we are rather sacrosanct about.
Why IMT?
It's a very good question. This is something that I keep thinking about because that's my job. I think how do we grow? How do we go to the next level? How do we ensure we keep competing and out-competing? I think IMT Ghaziabad obviously realizes that the next 10-15 years of business school education will be quite different to what has happened in the past. We'll be building centers, right? The centers for enterprise and business improvement. What is that center all about? That center is essentially to ensure that our students and faculty get the experience of working on mission-critical projects with the industries. Similarly, we have a center for faculty development, and what are we doing with that center? We are ensuring that the new faculty that are coming in are able to tie in to the kind of vision and mission that we have, are able to tie in terms of the kind of experience they offer in the classroom, the kind of research credentials they're able to create. Similarly, we are at the discussion stages of the Center for Data Sciences. And why are we doing that kind of center? It's very simple. Management education is going to change at the core. A lot of technology will need to come in. Of course, a lot of liberal arts subjects will also have to kind of come to the core, but I think the Center for Data Sciences will help us in that regard.
So as you revealed about the plan for Center for Data Science, will this see the light of the day in 2022?
Yes, definitely. We already have a plan about what we're going to do for the next 3-4 months. Luckily for us, we have a good set of people who are working on this particular center as well.
Are there any kind of scholarships available in the college?
A lot of the scholarships that are mandated by the regulatory bodies, by the government, even other scholarships, for example, to be able to ensure certain levels of gender equity, we offer that kind of scholarship as well. So yes, I think it is important that we at IMT Ghaziabad bring in the right kind of talent, and access to funds should not be an impediment. So yes, we offer a certain base of scholarships for that.